Welcome to the anniversary episode for the Stephen Knight Show. I'm here with Genera, our resident fashion person, fashionista, I
Mhm.
guess is best to describe it. And, Genera, we were just talking. I do the movie reviews with Chike, and
Mhm.
I feel like I'm in my own silo, but it's nice to actually finally talk to you after 10
It
years.
is. I know. It's and it seems like time has flown by. And when you say 10 years, it's almost like I can't believe it's been 10 years already. It
Yeah,
is crazy. Yeah.
yeah, it's great. Well, I'm glad we finally got to chat.
Mhm.
And so I'm just going to take us back to the beginning. How do you know Stephen?
Steven and I used to work together at a company called CDI.
Mhm.
Um, and he was a recruiter, and I was working on the HR side. I did a lot of onboarding. Steven used to come over because always have snacks and candy. So Steven used to come over and steal my snacks
Sounds
all
about
the
right.
time, all the time. And so that's how he and I met. And Michelle also worked there with us. And so she never came over to steal snacks. She would just come over. We would chat all the time. But Steven, greedy Petey, he works it off, of course, but he would always come over and steal my tips. And I remember one day I was like, Steven, you're going to have to start giving me money for this because you eat the majority of everything that I buy. But it was cool. It was cool.
No, that's awesome, and it sounds exactly like Steven, and I'm
Yeah.
sure he hasn't changed since. Uh, all right, well, so then, you're working with Steven, and
Mhm.
he approaches you, or I guess give me the path of how he got you involved in the Steven Knight show.
Well, okay. So I have a website, which of course life has taken over. So I don't do as much with it as I used to. But I had a website, and Stephen would always help me. He was always trying to help me with improving it and doing things because I am not a social media maven. I will never claim to be. I
Hmm.
will look at social media. I hardly ever post, which is part of my problem anyway. But he was there to help me like through it. So he gave me ideas on how to improve like my social media, everything. And so that's how. And so then that turned into, well, I think I'm starting a little radio show. Do you want to be on it? Because I really love to find sales. That's what I do. Um,
Hmm.
I am a shopper. As a matter of fact, I just got to buy my son something recently, but I am a shopper to my heart. And so that's usually, that's really what my site at the time was geared around, like finding like
Hmm.
budget fashion everywhere. So I buy anything from designer to Walmart,
Yep.
anything that looks good. And so Stephen was like, you can be on my show and you can tell us about these things. And so I said, hey, I would love to. And so that's how I came to be on the show. But he actually started out helping me first. And
Hmm.
then he came up with the idea for the show. And then he was like, would you like to do it? I was like, of course.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
Steven's always helping
Mhm.
people. So I want to take a pause and back up to your kind of love for shopping and
Mhm.
fashion and deals. So how did you come about deciding that you wanted to even create a website?
Well, to try to make a long story as short as possible, I was unemployed like during like when we had this economic crisis all
Hmm.
the way back in 2008. I actually met Stephen in 2009 when I started working at CDI. He was actually already there. And I started my website then because I
Hmm.
just loved the idea. Um, back then it was called, the budget shopaholic because
Hmm.
that's pretty much what I was. And it was pretty hard to be a shopaholic, even on a budget, being unemployed. But I still like to go out there and find things. And so a friend of mine said, well, hey, you can turn that into something. You can actually, because I know how to find looks for less. I know how to find even designer deals for less. And so they said, well, you can turn this into something. And what you can do is, put it on the website. So I found a platform, tweaked it a little bit. And that's how I came up with the budget shopaholic.
Okay, no, that's awesome. And I
Mhm.
mean, it's fashion so it moves so fast. I feel sometimes that there's always deals to be had, right? And
Always, always.
never pay full price for any fashion item
I
because
don't
it'll
believe
go
in it.
down. Yeah.
Yep. Mhm.
Yeah. So I think that's great. So we'll go back and you do the first episode, or maybe you do the first couple episodes. What are your
Mhm.
thoughts? Do you think this is something you want to stick around with, or?
Definitely, because my whole platform was I always loved telling people about the deals I found. I would go and someone would say, "Hey, where?" A lot of people like try to keep it hush hush. And someone would say, "Well, hey, where'd you find that top?" No one wants to tell where they found the top because
Yep.
they want to be the only one with it. Well, I'm not. I'm the exact opposite. I'm like, oh, well, you can find this at TJ Maxx, or you can find this at Marshalls, or you can find this at. So it'll be little different places that I always shop and things together, or found little deals, and so I was always happy to tell people about that. And so that's pretty much like how it all came together for me.
Okay, and so you were so ready for the next week, right? It
I
wasn't
really
a
was. I'm
hesitation.
sorry. And yes, I didn't even answer your question.
No
So,
worries.
and so when he came to me, with everything, I was like, I would love to be able to spread the word on how I found this or how I found that. And so that actually morphed into my weekly deals. And so
Hmm.
I would, because somebody's always having a deal somewhere, right?
Hmm.
And so that actually morphed into, you know, we did it once. And of course, you know how Steven is. He always gives you an out. If you don't like it, that's fine.
Yeah.
And he's always so patient with me because, like I said, sometimes life gets in the way and I'm not able to do everything that I need to do. But one lead led to another. And so I was like, hey, this is something I really want to stick around for because I really love being able to reach people that wouldn't normally know about my site. I love being able to work with Stephen's community,
Hmm.
and this is just a great platform to do that. So I definitely wanted to come back week after week. So the first time I did it, of course, I was a little nervous.
Hmm.
Second time I did it, still a little nervous. And I remember one time he was like, "Well, do you want to co-host?" I was like, "Whoa, don't think I'm ready for that. I don't think I'm
Yeah.
ready for that, but I will definitely be there to do my segment as often as I possibly can." So that's why I stuck around because he was a great guy. Show was a great show,
Hmm.
and I love to be able to find deals for everyone. And so
Yeah. So, 10 years is a long time.
right.
So I'm going to ask you to think back. What would have been your favorite, maybe, deals that you've announced on the show or deals you found to talk about on the show in the
Um,
past 10 years?
well, this is actually I love to be able to talk about any deal around the holidays because, I love to be able to help people find those last minute gifts. But I have to tell you, I've been one of those people who, as far as shopping is concerned, I've been one of those people who's actually been able to, please don't kill me, everybody, for saying this, but take advantage of this pandemic because
Hmm.
everything went on sale during the pandemic. And so I was loving being able to share so I would say that this is probably outside of the holidays and being able to tell people where to find the best deals around the holidays for those holiday deals because the holidays is my favorite time of year. I would say that, during this time, this last year, it's been an unfortunate thing. Of course,
Hmm.
no one is crazy about the pandemic, but the deals that these retailers were giving us were just far too great to
Yeah.
pass on.
There's a lot of inventory and they got to do something with it.
Very,
So
yes, yes.
this is a good time to buy.
Hmm.
Uh, so thinking about kind of your favorite brands or your favorite shop, what would be like your top deal store or brand that would have a sale? Like what's on your wish list of
Oh
this
my
store has
goodness.
like a 80% off sale? That's the one you want.
I would say Nordstrom Rack. And
Okay.
the reason I say that is because it's been my favorite. They don't always give, and I'm thinking back, but they don't always give the, they do give really good deals. I will say, let me
Hmm.
start off by saying that. But when they do like an extra 40% off clearance, I go crazy. It's like my chocolate. I go crazy. I would say Nordstrom is my shopping chocolate, because they already give deals, and so then and you can also, and I love designer, and I love
Hmm.
designer for cheap.
Yep.
So I love to be able to go to Nordstrom Rack, and I love to be able to tell people about that. I even, like my husband, he jokes around with me around the holidays because I'll start shopping maybe, I might start shopping for the holidays around the July, but then, I can always go to Nordstrom Rack and
Yep.
make sure I can find a good deal. And so he'll say, I better be able to fit into this because I know I'm not going to be able to take it back because you got it so long ago. Because I started shopping so early and I'm like, yeah, you probably can't take it back. But no.
Yeah, no, so first of all, I do love Nordstrom Rack as well,
Hmm.
and I think that's a great choice. And you bring up an interesting point too, and I don't know if it's just me, but sometimes I'll buy something on sale
Hmm.
and I like it, but I don't wear it for at least a year. And then for
Hmm.
some reason I dig it out and I'm like, "Oh, I had this for so long. I'll start wearing
Right,
it." And then I wear it all
right.
the time. So does that happen with you?
Yes, all the time. And then I love to refresh stuff. I still have stuff, at least the stuff I can still fit into from college. And
Mhm.
I graduated a long time ago. But I still have stuff from college. I'm seeing, like repeat, stuff that I thought were classic pieces. And so I'll dig it out and, put it on, or something that I may have gotten a couple of years ago. I'm like, hey, I never wore this. Let me see what I can do with it. And so, a lot of people's minds don't go that way. It's like I haven't worn it in a couple of years. I'm just
Mhm.
gonna go ahead and give it away. Whereas I am like, I haven't worn this in forever, so let me see what I can do with it now. My
Yeah.
husband calls me a pack rat, but I'm not. I'm really not.
Yeah, you use the stuff. They just have to
Right.
understand that, it might take a while.
Exactly.
No,
You
I
understand, Adam.
yeah, I
You
still have
understand.
denim from I used to, when I was in college, I used to work at Bloomingdale's,
Mhm.
down in Perimeter Mall, so I know the
Yeah,
routine, buy sale stuff, and it lasts, and I still have stuff from
forever.
my college days.
Especially if you get
Oh,
good quality stuff, which is why I love Nordstrom Rack,
yep.
because they stand behind their product. There are some department stores who will not, even like, well, I don't want to call anybody out
Mhm.
but there are some department stores who don't stand behind their product, but Nordstrom Rack has always stood behind their product and, accepted returns for a long period after. So that's why that's one of my favorite stores.
Okay, and I'm gonna take us a little bit down the fashion rabbit hole a little more in
Okay.
retail, just because I think it's fun to talk about, but you've seen a lot since you started the website,
Hmm.
and even prior to the pandemic, you've seen, deals have changed. What have you noticed in the industry of like retailers that have changed the way they offer sales, or just how they've offered to bring people maybe into the stores before the pandemic, because a lot of places were doing online shopping?
Hmm. Hmm. I have noticed that, as well, as far as the pandemic is concerned, the thing is, I personally don't go out
Hmm.
to stores if I don't have to. I mean, I may go to the occasional Ross, or Marshalls or TJ Maxx or something, but I typically don't go in the malls because the crowds are just too big. So
Hmm.
what I have noticed, though, is that a lot of retailers are trying to drive crowds online. And as a result, they're offering like a lot of deals. Like, it used to be that, you had to spend this enormous amount just to get free shipping, because, like, I
Yep.
can get a deal on something, but if you tell me I have to pay $5.99 for shipping,
Yeah, it's not worth it, right? Kills the deal.
Adam, I'm telling you. So, I've noticed that, they're being a lot more lenient with shipping, and, you're getting a lot more, or you're getting a lot more for that $5.99 in shipping. So
Hmm.
I've noticed that they have, a lot of retailers, not all, but a lot of retailers are trying to drive customers to online shops during this pandemic. So I do appreciate that. I've also noticed that, because of the inventory and because of the economic state of the country, I don't want to get on my political soapbox, but because of the economic state of the country, they have been slashing a lot. Now things are starting to rise, because I think they think that there is an economic upturn. But, during in the heart of the pandemic, for months, things were reasonably priced,
Hmm.
surprisingly reasonably priced.
Yeah, yeah. Nope,
Hmm.
that makes sense. So back to the show. I know past 10 years, a lot has happened in your life. You got
Hmm.
married, you have a child, now you're doing renovations.
Yes.
Um, was there any point amongst the 10 years that you're like, you know what, I don't know if I want to do this anymore every Monday night? Or did you ever have like hesitations?
Never,
Okay.
never. Just because I love the platform, I love the show. I've never once wavered. I will say
Hmm.
that there has been a time when I was like, gosh, like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to fit it in. Fortunately, Steven is so patient with me. When I say super patient, I mean uber patient with me.
Hmm.
When he understands, like, if things get busy at work or things get busy in life, I may not be able to do my segment. And he's always very, very understanding about that. And I really appreciate that. But there's never been a time when I did not want to do the show.
Okay.
In the last 10 years, I've always wanted to do the show.
Awesome. Do you listen to a lot of the guests?
I
Okay.
do,
What
when I can, when I can, though,
yeah.
and so it's like
No, I understand. What has do you have any favorites of the past 10 years that you really enjoyed listening to?
I really can't because I listen for Stephen.
Okay. Yeah,
So,
well, he has a good
yes,
voice.
please don't, yeah, don't kill me, but yeah,
Well,
so
I'll self-admit I hardly listen to the interviews, so don't worry. You're not alone on that. Um, well, do you have anything I guess to say, or do you have any thoughts for the next 10 years of the Stephen Knight show? I think we're going to be around for a while, so
yes.
anything you want to kind of add in, or have any ideas or things like that?
No, I'm just very really, really proud to be a part of something that someone cares about so deeply, and I love the fact that, Stephen really, really tries to give back with every opportunity he has, with the show, and he's definitely found the platform for it. Um, I don't have any ideas for the show, and
Yeah,
when I do, I usually just like, "Stephen, hey, this is something I want you to think about," but I don't have any ideas at this time for the show. Whenever I do, I just run them by him, and he can do with them what he will.
yeah,
But, I just love being a part of the show. It's a really, really
yeah.
fun show.
It's a fun time, even
Yeah,
in
it
my
is.
little silo.
I know. I mean, I know that Stephen and Michelle get together all the time, but I'm also operating the silo because, like I said, life just took over for me.
Yeah,
It really
well,
did. Yeah.
that's a good thing,
Yeah.
especially
It
with
is.
what's
It
going
is. It
on.
is. Yeah.
All right. Well, Genera, thanks for again doing this anniversary interview with me,
Mhm.
and see you on the next episode.
I will. Thanks so much, Adam. Thank you for talking with me.
Thanks.
All right.